Hey everybody, it is Board Bob, and we are back once again. So last time we left off, we were setting up the walls and some defenses, and we also set up that lab and that buffer area, um, and set up our guns. So I took some time off camera to go ahead and finish working on the wall. um, and get that set up and get ammo and all the turrets. So, like I was saying, I usually like to do 3 rows. It gives me some time to for the guns to take down the biters. Um, since I was producing these automated, I had enough that I went ahead and I did the whole thing. So now I have turrets all the way around the base. Eventually I will swap them out to laser turrets. Maybe not this close. Well, if we can find some areas to use natural terrain, we will certainly do that. And then these will move. But once we're done with them, we can always pull these out and use them for our military science. So I went through and I put 50 rounds in or 50 magazines in each. That should give me plenty to get by with for now. Um, the radar has been doing its job, and as you can see, um, there's quite a few biters around the area. While I was doing this, these guys right here that we had eliminated once before are back, and they kept hitting my base. So, of course, the guns have taken care of it. It's not a problem. I'm pretty much ignoring them for now, but at some point we're going to push these guys back. Um, it does not look like there's a whole lot of natural defenses here. I just, did the default thing, so there's not a lot of water. So we're probably going to have to rely on walls quite a lot. One of the things I noticed in looking at this map is that all of our deposits are pretty much under 1,000,000 units. So we're going to have to be doing a lot of moving around and getting resources from different places. Obviously, we won't move our main base, but we're certainly going to be setting up a bunch of smaller outposts. In looking at this, there didn't seem to be a whole lot of uranium deposits, and then finally, way up here, I got a halfway decent one. So at some point, we're going to have to go after that. There's not a lot of big deposits on this map anywhere, which is kind of how it's set up for the default anyway, and I'm fine with that. I did a couple of things, other things off camera besides this. One of the things you'll notice is we have lights now. I really got tired of working in the dark. Uh-oh, now we got some of them doing some damage. So they made it all the way up to the walls. So yeah, we're going to have to get down there and at some point take care of that base because yeah, they've really kind of gotten in the habit of coming up here and killing us. So we're gonna have to take some turrets down there, and we'll get rid of those spawners and take them out. As you can see, the buffer system that I set up is working its way down. We're full all the way here, we're full all the way here, and we started filling these up. So this is really working out well, getting us a nice stockpile. Of course, it is draining out this deposit rather rapidly, but that's okay because then it's already made into plates. We don't have to worry about it later, and if this empties out, we still have the plates. And the only thing we really need raw iron for that I'm aware of is for when we have to deal with things like concrete, which we don't have to worry about right now. Now it seems to be that the backlog here is these furnaces, but again, we're not really hurting for the stuff right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. Eventually we'll replace these with the upgraded furnaces, but right now I'm not too worried about it. Um, so, what are we going to do this time around? Well, because we set up this science station up here, we shut down all our science research. So right now we're not doing any science research. Um, I did have it researching the large poles, and I went ahead and crafted some green science packs off camera and fed them into the system just to get through that, because I wanted the large poles and I didn't want this to just sit here. Once that was done, I went ahead and stripped everything out of it as far as the science packs. I have them in my inventory. The other thing I have down here, you'll notice, is I have a whole bunch of assembly machine ones. And the reason for that is now we're going to start working on our permanent production for our science packs. First two that I want to work on are my reds and my greens. Now, like I've been mentioning, I don't intend to build everything that goes into the science pack right there by the science pack. I'm going to break this down into sections. So what I'm going to do is up here right next to my lab, I'm going to set up assemblers just for the red science packs, and then up here just for the green science packs. And then on the other side, we'll probably do, you know, military and what have you over on this side, and those will all feed down into these bottom inputs, and then we'll expand up here. But all it's going to do is produce the science packs themselves. I'm going to bring the materials in from another location. I'm going to produce them in another separate little area by itself. So I was doing some thinking about how I want to do this as far as my science packs go, and I think this is what I'm going to try this time around. I'm going to set this up, and then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up once, and then for the other sciences, if it takes 3 items, 4, what have you, we can figure it out. But for the blue and the red, the actual packs only take 2 items a piece. So I'm going to set up the red, then I'm going to make a blueprint of it, and that way I can make sure that they're both the same. Plus I can put that blueprint away for later, for down the road. So here's what I thought of in doing this, and I want to leave a little bit of space down there, but not too terrible much. Oh, and the other thing I did do, let me show you before I get started on this, is just like I did down here for my iron, I went over here and I set up essentially the same thing for my copper, or at least started on it. I've got all the coal mining going, and I converted this over to where all of this was going into this one feed. I've broken off just these ones up here. That'll keep me going for now. Eventually I'm going to go down here and I will set up that smelting area just like I have for the iron, and then below that I'm going to set up a buffer area. So I've started working on this. I just figured I'd throw in the miners while I was off camera, just because, you know, you guys don't want to sit and watch me place miner drills, and you don't want to sit and watch me chop trees. That's kind of boring. So let's go on over here and get this started. So here's what I thought I would do. One space for a pole, space for a pole, space for a pole, space for a pole. Then we're going to go inserter space, belt space, inserter space. All right. Okay, so, and then we're going to go again, inserter space, belt space, inserter space. There we go. And then one last time, inserter space, belt space, inserter space. That should give me 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to feed both of these equally. Oh, I got some more damage. Fence is being damaged. Okay, we'll go down there and look in a little bit and see what they got going down there. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to feed into both of these evenly, and then I want to pluck out of them. So we're going to feed down from here, and we'll bring that in, and bring this over here, right? And then we're going to bring this over here. Okay, oops, put that there. And then if we split this here, it will feed both of those equally. It should split to both of them. So that's going to feed 10 on this one and 10 on this one, and 20 total for the throughput. And later on down the line, we'll change these out to high-speed belts and what have you as well. So now we want to go ahead and, you know what? Let's temporarily put this here and put a light in so we can see what the heck we're doing. That way we're not working in the dark. Okay, so now we're going to do inserter, 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 inserter. Beep, beep. All right, so that gets our input to both of these, and we're going to split this belt. So half the belt is going to be one item, and half the belt is going to be the other item for the materials that we need to come in here. So then we need to come out of here. So let's feed coming out. Here, and one more down here. There we go. So now we need gazatas. So gazata, 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 and gazata. Whoops. All right, and then up here, same thing. And then one last set of gazatas. There we go. So then this is all going to come down and combine down here. So yeah, you know what? I want to move over one. Because what I want to do is I want to put a splitter there, just to kind of try and keep everything balanced as best as I canist, as far as what's on this belt. Not that it's going to really matter, because once it goes over to the other belt, it's going to only put it on one side anyway. But I want to maintain my throughput as much as I possibly can. So there we go. So there's our goes outas, and there's our goes intas, right? And then we got to put in our power. Now we can get rid of this. It's daylight. I want to put it someplace where it makes sense. All right, so I know there's a bit of overlap, but if I put it here, I got to put a pole in between anyway because it doesn't reach. So I'm just going to put a pole between each of the assemblers, and just do it that way. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the lines looking nice and neat and not all crissy-crossy as best I can. At some point we are going to research substations, and then a lot of that can be kind of gotten rid of. So let's put a couple of lights in here in the corners, just so that when it does get dark, we have some lights. Oh, and we may need some more lights. We may be out of lights. Oh, nope, I got 3 more. Good. There we go. So now we have lights there. I have that all set up. Now the question becomes, where are we going to come in at? And I think what I'm going to do, in order to keep from crossing things and what have you, is I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to turn this one upwards instead, and have it come down there. That way we can go up here and we can set up another one of these for green science without having to do another underground belt or anything else. And then we can come over here and bring this up here. So that'll bring our red science into here and onto this belt. And it really doesn't matter which belt it's on, as long as it gets there over there. And then these two eventually can come over here without having to cross things up, and we can have 2 and 2, and have 4 of our sciences right here in this area being built. So there we go. So now let's set this to red, red science, and there we go. So now we can shift copy, shift paste. Wait a minute, shift copy, shift paste, right? Yep, there we go. And we'll just shift right click, shift left click, and paste it across them. Saves a lot of time, a lot of effort. Now, one thing I didn't do that I probably should have done is I didn't make a blueprint of this first before I set up what it's going to be, because if memory serves me right, when you do a blueprint, that blueprint carries over what the item is set up to construct. I could be wrong. Lord knows there's that often enough. So anyway, let's get some power to this so we can actually see what the heck we're doing. Boom, and everything looks powered up. Awesome. So here's what we got. We're going to have the line coming down and splitting evenly, and each of those is going to feed a total of 10 assemblers that are going to then spit out. Now, unfortunately, something's got to be odd here. The output, it's better, in my opinion, for the output to be odd than the input, because at least this will feed evenly this way. So now we have our red science construction setup. Now we just need to put in, we need to build our supply for the items for that. In the interim, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up for my green now the same way. One of the things I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to, as far as to help myself out here with layout, they've changed the way that blueprints work now. It used to be you had to go in and take a green circuit card, and that was, you'd make that into a blueprint, and then you put it in a book. Well, now they have this tab up here, Blueprint Library, and you can just click on the Blueprint Library, and you can make new blueprints. So we'll do a new blueprint. Doesn't cost us anything. We're still at 108, and we just hold it down, and bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Now this pole here, I don't want it, so I'm going to right click to remove it. Everything else I want to keep, so we're going to say yes. Now I have the blueprint. Now I can go up here and I can do the exact same thing up here that I did down there, and let's get it lined up, because yeah, I'm a little strange that way. There we go. So now, get rid of the blueprint. It's going to tell me where everything is, and yep, I was right. It does it does keep the setting of what it's supposed to be manufacturing. So we're going to have to go back and dump that and do one with a blank one if we want to save that for later. But in the interim, we can now go and set all of this up. So we can go boom, boom, boom. Okay, so when it apparently it just tells you what they were, but when you lay them down, it doesn't look like it sets them to whatever it was. Now we'll see once they have power. Maybe if they have power, it will set them up to be what it's, you know, what it's set for. We'll see. We'll find out. All right, so there's that. And let's put our power poles in just for giggles to see what it powers it up to, or once it powers it up, if it changes it over to being red science. And then let's just run one right here to see. No, okay, so it doesn't, it carries it over as far as showing you what it is, but apparently it does not carry it over as far as actually setting the factory to be whatever it was previous, which is nice. All right, so now let's do our splitters. So we want a splitter here, and we want a splitter here, and we want a splitter there. And now let's do inserters. I don't know if I have enough. Well, we'll see. I may have to go get more. So it goes into, 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 and goes into. And we are out of inserters. Let's get out and get some more inserters real quick. We are already making them automated, although we're just putting them in a chest right now, but at least we have them automated so that we can go down here and just grab a pile, which is nice. Eventually what I will do is set it up so that we have them going into the system on a belt, but also have a storage chest for them and keep a certain amount in storage so that we can just pick them up. So let's see. So now we got the gazintas. Let's get the gazatas up here. Gazata, 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 gazata. Beep beep. Gazata, 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 gazata. Gazinta, 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 gazinta. Gazata, gazata. Oops. Too fast for my own good. All right. So we are slowly but surely getting there, and getting to the point of having much stuff automated, which is kind of nice, especially considering the fact that that's the whole point of the lazy bastard. But I would definitely like to get as much of this automated as quickly as I possibly can. For my own ease and laziness. Alrighty. And there we go. So now we have one set up. Oops, let's put some lights. We're definitely out of lights, but that's okay. All right, so now let's set this to green. Shift right click, shift left click, copy it on over. I really like the fact that you can do this because it makes it so much easier than having to go in and set it in the assembler itself. This also works on filter inserters, which is nice. So there we go. So now that's going to give us our area where we're going to start creating red science, and we're going to start creating green science. So what we have to do next is set up for the components for that. Before I do that though, I want to go down here and I want to check and see what these biters have been up to down here. Because I think one of the next things I'm going to really need to automate is repair packs. Oh, they're not doing so bad. These are still in pretty good shape out here, but that's, like I say, that's why I do it at 3 deep, because I can ignore this for quite some time, and they ain't getting through it, especially with the guns. The only thing I gotta worry about with the guns is because I only did 50 in them, these are going to start to run out of ammo fairly quickly if I don't keep them full. Let's see how much ammo I've got up here. Maybe we'll just completely top these ones out. We know where they're hitting, and maybe we'll just top those ones that they're hitting. Oh yeah, we got enough. So we're just going to grab all this ammo, and we're going to get down here and we're going to top up all of these guns right here where they're hitting at, and just give them a really bad day. So we'll just start from there. All right, and we'll go here. Oops, wrong one. What am I doing? I'm not thinking today. There we go. And just top all of them right on up, or at least as many of them as we can right in this area. There we go. That last one, I think it only put 3 in it. Now there we go. Because I don't really need to be carrying them around right now. We're okay. Yeah, crapsky. I want a couple on this side. I want some more on this side. So we'll have to come back down in a little while and do that. But there we go. So that's our defenses. Our buffer is definitely working out pretty good. You know, that's 3.2K per chest, and we almost have, you know, almost half of them filled. So, you know, that's a lot of iron. So even if this dies out, it'll give us room to work in, but at the same time, we've already got the plate, and it's all being done while we're not using it, instead of it just kind of sitting backed up on the line like this would be. You know, all this copper here is just sitting here. It's not doing anything. So, you know, we'll start. We'll get that going and get a copper one set up as well. As a matter of fact, before we start, well, you know what? Let me throw the science that I have in my pack on these belts, now that I have that set up. So let's just throw this science on here. So now that since I now know which belt it's going to go into, we'll just throw all this science on this on this belt. Come on. And get it going around the system. Oh, you know, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to do that, because that way, see the 2 that popped out of there, otherwise they're going to sit in that and they're going to get hung up in it and not go anywhere. So let's do that. That way they don't sit there and get wasted. No sense in wasting those. Waste not, want not, right? Alright, so there we go. And then let's throw our green on here. get our green going into the system. We don't have a whole lot of green, but that's okay. I don't care. So there we go. Now it's going roundy. Now let's tell it to do something since we're sitting here. We've got a fair amount of red. We got a little bit of green. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, see, we want this advanced. We want this steel furnace. So let's look at researching the steel furnace. It's going to take 75 green and 75 red. I know we don't have that many green, but you know what? We have an assembler that we can throw down here and put the pieces parts in real quick and make the green science. What do we need for green science? So we need inserters and we need belts, both of which we happen to have on hand. Not a lot of them, but enough to get it started, and then we can go down and grab some more. So let's go down here and get these inserters out of here. 50. And we'll go ahead and grab the belts. We're going to need them anyway. There we go. Back up here. We'll throw them in here. Where'd they go? Oh, there they are. All right. So there we go. We'll just let that cook away, and we'll come back and grab that and throw that in. So that I guess back on the road to researching. We don't have it set up to feed these in yet, but we have them set up. And like I say, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side for two other sciences and loop them to these two. And then we're not crossing anything over. We're not having to knot things all up more than we need to. So let's go ahead and at this point, well, do we want to wait? Yeah, no, we're going to go ahead and get this set up. We're not going to put the furnaces in though, because we're researching the next furnaces up, and as soon as we get those, we will start dropping them in. So there is no sense in starting more furnaces that we don't need. Let's do this though. Let's put some power over here so that we have some lights and we can see what the heck we're doing. That coal will just stack up on the belt anyway. And come on, can you reach both of them at the same time? No, of course you can't. Oh well, let's see. Can we move this? Come on, pick it up. There we go. Can we move this one? Nope. Oh wait. Maybe. Yes. No. Maybe. Right there. And yes. Okay. It's the little things, right? So there we go. So now we have light over where we can see what the heck we're doing. And as you can see, like I said, I did this all the way around. And I didn't want you guys to be bored and sitting there watching me just put up walls. So there we go. All right, so now we are going to do, like I said, the exact same thing we did down here up there. So the easiest way to make sure we do this correctly is let's make a snapshot of it, right? Let's make a blueprint. So we get a blueprint, and we don't really need this part. We just need this part right here, I think. So let's grab that with a blueprint. Yep, there we go. And let's look and see what we got. Yes, we're happy with that. Put that one down. We will grab another blueprint, and we will go down here, and let's take a snapshot of this. Right? There we go. There's our buffer. Look looks like we got everything we wanted. You know what? Let's get rid of these because we may or may not put them in the same place. Boom. There we go. So now we have our buffer. So now we can just come up here. And if we had robots, which I love robots, we could just throw this down and let the robots build it. And when we start working on railways, we are definitely going to be doing blueprints, because what we will do is we will build a number of blueprints for pieces of railroad, and then we can just click them together and have the robots just deal with building them. So let's see where we're going to put this. We want our copper to come in and our coal to come in on separate sides of a common line. So if we put it right, if we put it right there, right, because then we can have our coal come up here, and we can have our copper come down here, and they can meet up on this one line. Yeah, I think there we go. So we'll have a line come in right here, right? And we'll come in from our coal there. And we might need to give ourselves some more space, we'll see. Alright, so this is going to come in here, right? And then our coal will come up. Now this output's got to have room to come down. So we want this output to come down here. Right, and then we want our coal to go up here. We want to leave ourselves some room. If we don't, we run into that pole. Let's go right there. So we'll come up to there. Oop. Right there, and then have our copper come over. We should have planned that a little better, I guess, but that's life. Alright, so now we're going to get our copper to feed in one side, our coal to feed in the other side, and that'll come down to there. Now let's put in our splitters. And we'll put in our belts. Right? Right. And then that'll come down there. That'll come down there. That'll go up there. That'll go up there. Right? Right. And then that'll feed that furnace inside of the furnaces. This will feed this side of the furnaces. And same thing on the other side. Now I see people do it both ways. I see them feed from the middle in, and I see them feed from the outside into the middle. My preference has kind of always been to feed from the outside to the inside, and then we end up with the one common belt for the output. Now maybe there's, I don't know whether there's a ratio reason for doing it the other way or anything else like that. Maybe it flows better the other way. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I just know this is the way I like to do it. And now that I think about it, because I was saying, oh, I don't want to put the furnaces in right now because then I got to, well, I don't have to, because it's not until I get electric furnaces that these are too big that I have to take these belts out. That's the whole point of the belts in the first place, is to provide spacers so that when you go to put in the electric furnaces if you decide to do that. A lot of times I don't. I just don't. I mean, there's no production bonus to the electric furnaces. The only difference is they don't use coal, which cuts down on pollution, which is fine. But that means more electricity. More electricity, you end up with, having pollution from production of electricity. So, although now, you know what? Let's make this. Let's make this 2 stacks now. We're really starting to use inserters. Let's go ahead and make that 2 stacks, so that we have more on hand. Anyway, now we have nuclear power, and I've played with it a little bit in my personal game, and I like it. It's cool. What's really cool are nukes. I like the nukes, man. I've been blowing up some biters, let me tell you, and I'm looking forward to getting to that point on this game, because it are cool. Right now, although we don't have it in this game yet because we don't have petroleum, one of my favorite things as far as clearing forests is the flamethrower. I'm a bit of a pyro, I guess, in that regard, but I do find that it really will clear out a forest quickly, and not only that, but you end up with a lot of collateral damage to the biters. Any of the biters who have spawners next to the trees, bye-bye. They go away quickly as well. So there we go. So now, you know what? We're going to go ahead and put the furnaces in and get this started, because it's going to be a while until we finish researching that, and it's going to be a little while until we produce enough that we can swap these out anyway. And since we already have them, they're already made, we might as well use them. When we strip them out later, we'll use them for something else. Alright, so there we go. So now my copper is flowing through my furnaces. We're getting copper plate. Now we want to go ahead and do the same thing we did down the other end, and we want to build ourselves a buffer. The question is, do we want to build it this direction, or do we want to build it this direction? I think we want to build it this direction. And I think we want to have it, unlike this one, which I didn't think ahead, probably should have somehow been facing the other way so that it's coming up here. I think we're going to face this one this way for now, because our laboratories are going to be over here. That's going to be our big thing that we're going to want to feed right now. And all of that is going to go into making copper cable in order to feed that. So let's give ourselves some room, because we're going to loop that line down and plop her down right there. Alright, so there we go. So now let's bring this line down and around. Oops. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. So that'll come into there. We'll get that set up. So now what do we need? We need 14 splitters and 64 chests. So do we have any splitters on hand? No, we don't have any splitters, and we don't have any chests. All right. So let's go over here, because we're going to need, you know what? That's the whole point of building this. Let's get down here and get ourselves some iron plates, because we're going to need them to build our chests. We have some already. Let's grab some more. And where did we... Oh, I know where it's at. It's up here making green science, isn't it? You set it down somewhere up here to make green science. There it is. Let's grab this green science and throw it into our mix. In the meantime, we wanted, what did I say, 64 chests? And it's 8 per. We'll just throw a pile in and get it started. Let's go up here and drop this on the belt and get it flowing in. The science must flow. There we go. That'll get us going for a little bit. All right. What do we got down here? 12. I did say 64, right? Yeah. 25. This will give us probably about 75, I think, but that's okay, because we're going to use them anyway. So, splitters is what we want next. 14 splitters. What's it take to make a splitter? It takes circuits, plates, and belts. So, I have some circuits, I have some plates, I wonder if it'll take these belts. Hey! Now I know what I can do with my broken belts. Nice. So what do we need? We need... Oh, okay, so we don't have enough. I did not realize that you could put the broken belts in there. That is pretty sweet. Alright, so we're going to need some more green circuits. Let's get down here and grab these green circuits. Oh, what do you know? Alright, so... you know what? This was what I wanted. It's 100 though. That's only 20. Gives us our military science. Engines. You know what? We're going to start doing oil processing, because we're going to man, decisions. I hate decisions. Alright, you know what? Let's go with the oil processing. Because eventually we want to get that started. Man, I want trains too, though. And that opens up railway for us as the next step. Because we got to go get that all that stuff from up there. And we need to start building railways. Okay. We're going to start on railways. Attack with it. Alright, let me get these green circuits. Man, when you want everything all at once. At some point I'm going to want to automate my splitters, because I'm going to use a lot of them as well. Let's see what this gives us. I know I'm going to need them, so I'll just let it run and do as many of them as I can. I'll just throw that in there. I need 14. I've got 2, 12. Yeah, that's going to work out right about right. There we go. Alright. Take that with us. we can't craft in hand, we can certainly take an assembler or two with us wherever we go, right? Makes sense to me. So now, let's plop down these iron chests. I know that's taking damage. I don't mind it taking damage. It's when I see it destroyed that I know we need to make a trip down there. That's, again, the point of making our walls 3 rows thick. As soon as I see that first wall go, then I'm definitely going to want to get my butt down there. I'm shy by 2. It figures. All right, fine. Fine. Of course I am. Of course I'm shy by 2. Iron chest. Oh, not iron. First world problems, right? First world problems. All right. There, we won't need for a while now. For a little while. Boop-doop-doo. I definitely like doing that buffer for a number of reasons. One of them is that it does give me a lot that I can just go and grab if I ever need it. Not that I should in this particular series, because I'm not going to be doing a lot of handcrafting. But you never know. Like right now, I needed it to throw in there into that assembler. Man, we are going to have to get down there and kill those guys, because they are just going to town down there. Alright, we need some more inserters. Now those I know I have automated. There's no sense making any more. Nice. Take all of them. You know, I may even do this buffer thing for like all of the stuff that tends to really kind of get used. Gears, copper wire, etc. Maybe not as extensive as what I've got here, but just enough to where, you know, sometimes you get these surges in production and it kind of bottlenecks everything. I'm thinking this may be my way around that. If I do these buffers for various things that are likely to have surges like that, then it may go quite a ways towards mitigating that problem. That would certainly not break my heart. Let's go for a ride. Alright, is that end? That is that end. missed it. Uh-oh. How did we end up with... I thought we had gotten rid of those. I thought we got rid of these. I guess apparently we did not. Alright, well, Krapsky. We'll have to throw them in the system over here. You know what? Let's get rid of them right now. Now that we found out that we can do that. Where are we? We're down here somewhere, aren't we? There we are. So, what requires... Okay, nothing requires it right now. But we are definitely going to dump those into manufacturing something that doesn't matter. I wonder if that's something that is unintentional, that it allows me to do that. As far as the devs go, I'm wondering if they intended for it to be like that, because I can see that being taken advantage of to get rid of some of this broken stuff without having to repair it. And maybe that's a thing they want or don't care about, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Alright, so we got everything for our inputs. We just need electric. Alright, so that whoops. There we go. So there's that. So now we just need to bring power down to it, right? And look at that go, man. Ain't that pretty? There we go. So now we're going to start building up a whole bunch of copper. Same as we did with the iron. Alright. So that gets us our copper and our iron going in bulk. And we're set up now to start doing our sciences. Next time we are going to set up for our gear production so that we can really start pumping gears up there for our red, and then we're going to have to start really automating inserters and transport belts. And for those, we're probably going to do the same thing that we did up here for the red. We will make a section that does nothing but inserters and nothing but transport belts, and then we're going to do a section that does the items for those. So that would be for transport belts, it's going to be gears, which is going to be our biggie. That's going to be our tough one to keep supplied with, because there's a number of things that need it. For our inserters, it's going to be green circuits, gears, and plates, which means we're going to have to start manufacturing a bunch of green circuits. But like I say, I want to keep all of these as individual assembly components, like this right here. You know, some of them are going to be a little different because they're going to require 3 inputs versus 2 inputs, etc., etc. But I think we're going to standardize a 2 and a 3 and even a 4 item assembly, so that we can just do these as a schematic and throw them down and just boom, 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 because they don't have to be on top of resources. All of this empty space out here where the resource patches are not, we can use those to make our little component factories and keep off of our resource patches, because we are definitely hurting for resources as far as the map goes. So if we avoid building on the resource patches as much as absolutely possible, we will keep those available. Now there's one here that I put the wall across, but that wall is not always going to stay there. That's going to expand. So I think that's some pretty good progress for today. We got our red and green science set up to be produced, and we're going to really start pumping out our copper now and store that same way as we were doing with our iron. This, I think, in the interim will give us plenty of copper for whatever little stuff we're doing until it gets to the point where we're ready to hook this into the system. And we're definitely going to make a main bus for those components. All right, so there we go. Hopefully this was of some interest to you guys. I'm just looking around real quick to see if any of these drills need picking up, to just kind of clear them out. Like I was saying before, I just kind of try and keep on top of these and make sure that you know, they're not running out, and that way I kind of have an idea where I stand with my resources, and it doesn't look like it. So let's take a looky-loo down here just to see how our walls are doing. And it looks like, oh yeah, they're still in real good shape. You know, a little bit of damage, but not too bad. Looks to be this is the center of our problem area. Yeah, we're already down to 187 out of 200. These guys are definitely firing a serious amount of rounds down here. Oh, here comes another one. Where are they coming? They're coming over here. Let's go look. Oh, they found a new place that they want to come attack now. I guess they got tired of being over there. What size? I didn't get a chance to catch what size biters they were. Wonder if they're still small biters. Let's look, because we should have. Yeah, see now with the new. Oh, here we go. So we've had them evolve. Now we're getting some medium biters in. I really like with this new map where you can zoom all the way in. So we got what, 1, 2, 3 small worms. We got some medium biters down here that we're going to have to take care of. Looks like we get another patch down here, but this is the one that's causing us the issues. This one has started getting pollution, so he's going to start coming up soon. This one's probably going to start coming up soon. So we're probably going to want to go wipe these ones out. I don't know whether I set it up to respawn spawners or not. I know with the train setting, it does not regrow spawners, but I do not believe that this one is set for that. So we'll probably have them continually, you know, show up. So we're going to have to get out and take care of it. That's okay. That's part of the fun, right? I think right now we are pretty much just set defensively. We got a huge area to work with, and we got enough resources that we can definitely get started. Once we get engines, we can start looking at trains. And I will set up an area where I can start building schematics for train rails, and then we can really kind of go to town. So all right guys, well, that is going to be it for now. You guys have a good evening or a good day or whatever it is when you're watching this. You know, like and subscribe and comment on it and let me know what you think. And if you've got any suggestions, love to hear them. And I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.